So how do we get a trademark? So you must be selling something or about to sell something. You can do an intent to use, which gives you about 12 months to actually get the product into commerce, or you lose your application ability for that, or you lose your application, I should say. You next need to really make sure you verify whether the mark's being used or not. I can't tell you, I'll get a client that says, hey, I have a trademark and this person's infringing on it, and you go look into it and they're like, it was probably pretty innocent. They just didn't do any due diligence. So they went and they spent a bunch of money and they spent thousands of dollars renovating a restaurant and another 10,000 putting up a sign and another 5,000 making menus. And all they had to do was probably either hire somebody. I mean, ideally you want to have an attorney do a proper trademark search, or at least a decent one. Probably would only cost them $1,500 or $2,000 at the most, and he would have gotten a decent understanding of what's out there, right? And instead he didn't, and so now they're in the position of, well, now they have to possibly change, all of their names and all of this marketing they put out and all of this expense because they didn't just do some due diligence up front. So that's I think very important to do. Next, you apply for it. The federal trademark process, it seems to be speeding up lately. Normally what I tell clients is you're going to wait somewhere between 3 to 6 months before you get any sort of response, and then you'll either get an acceptance or they'll say, we think there's a likelihood of confusion with another mark, and you need to tell us why it's not. And then there's various ways of going about arguing that back, but it's about 3 to 6 months is generally. Seems to be closer to 3 months right now. So I don't know if they've hired some more people or if they're just speeding up the process or whatnot, but it just kind of depends. And then the other nice thing about trademarks, maybe the nicest thing, is that it never expires unless you go out of business. So, Coca-Cola can have their trademark from now until the end of time, because as long as you stay in business, you never lose that continuity. And so there's no issue with that. Now with a federal trademark, there is a renewal. So every so often I think it's every 3 years you have to renew. And renewal is kind of a broad term. Renewal is more about proving you're still in business. But you do have to pay a small fee as well to kind of keep that going. But